All right. Guys, welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Cool. I don't even have to hold the microphone?
No, you got a little stand.
I'm gonna hold it anyway,
Dude, that's cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you want to get this thing started? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let the press conference begin. Okay, Jenny Shackleton, you're up first.
Don't mess up.
My name's Jenny.
I think it is.
Tyler, in Neon Gravestones, you go on passionate rant about glorification of suicide and depression in the media. Okay.
You got it.
Was there any death or like moment in pop culture that like ignited the fire and made you write this song?
Wow, what a great song, question to start.
Good opening.
Really bring this down. No, that is a really good question. I think that part of what I was also trying to get to there was I wanted to make sure that I was saying it in the right way. I was being perceived correctly. And in order to navigate kind of some rough water there, topically, I had to make sure that I put enough weight on the fact that I wasn't trying to be disrespectful in any way. And I feel like if I were to dive into that question, it might be flirting with that. So I'd like to pass on that. But that is a good question.
Hi. So looking back on the days before you guys were like huge, 21 Pilots.
Like muscles,
Yeah, that too.
Jacked.
just jacked,
No.
ripped.
Were there any like roadblocks that almost stopped you, and what would you say to somebody who might be facing something like that now?
Keep working out, man.
Protein.
Do you need roadblocks, Josh?
It sometimes can be discouraging, I think, or it can be, you know, if you're working towards something and you don't necessarily feel like there's a light ahead. I mean, there's been so many shows that we would show up and wonder if anyone was going to be there, and we would both carry down a piano down flights of stairs in the middle of the winter, and then, you know, hardly anybody would be there. But I think that we've really believed in this since the beginning, and I think that having kind of like each other to kind of, you know, encourage one another, and then friends around us that were very supportive and encouraging, kept us going. And I don't think there were really any moments where we at all were like, let's not do this anymore, because it's too fun.
There is one moment that when you mentioned that, I thought of, so I was working at a restaurant, trying to make rent, also working on music, also trying to go to school. And I got pulled over for speeding and got slapped with a ticket. I forget how much it was, but it was enough for me to feel like all that work that I put in at my job is gone. Like I'm throwing it all away for something stupid that I shouldn't have done. And I don't know, that was like a really low moment where I could feel the hours that I had spent working, you know, got the check. Okay, that many hours equals that much money. And then having to pay a ticket for speeding was like, that's how many hours of my life that don't matter anymore. And so that was a moment for me. It was a really low point. Like, what am I doing? You know, what am I working for? And I don't know what I did. I just kind of kept going, I guess.
Thank you. Awesome question. All right, number 3, Courtney Rogers. Step up to the mic.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
My question is, what was the significance of the 21 Pilot symbol going from the single lines to the double lines?
Just cooler. Can you imagine all this stuff that we like do, and that's all?
It's just cooler.
It's just cooler, man.
Yeah.
No, we wanted to. I think the song "Jumpsuit" is pretty important to me. It's one of the first songs I wrote for the record. It's obviously the first song that on the record. And the lyric "Cover Me" was something that really stuck with me, meant a lot to me, and adding that extra layer of protection or insulation to the logo made sense with kind of this new batch of songs.
Awesome. Nicole Ramsbacker, number 4, take it away.
Hi, guys. Do you ever face creative differences when working together? And if so, what's been the biggest obstacle in remaining friends while expressing those differences?
I can't think. I mean,
No.
we're not friends. Well, I think it's important if you're going to do something creative or artistically with somebody to be on the same page before you even start. So I think when Tyler and I met, there was something that I think that I don't know, I just kind of was on the same page. I wanted to do something that he was kind of already doing creatively, and kind of just, I think that we've just agreed on almost everything.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to just kind of be on the same page a lot. Other than like very small things, which we enjoy to talk about. Like, I think you're over this now, but there was a point where he didn't like Russell Crowe for zero reason. And I just never understood the zero reason part. I mean, like, if you don't like an actor, that's fine. But there should be a reason.
That's why I'm over it. And I like him.
I like him. Big fan.
Huge fan. For zero reason, though.
For zero reason.
Hi. So your lyrics are emotional and meaningful, and the music surrounding those lyrics always fits so well to give each song such strength. So how do you know when a song is finished?
Oh, wow. I guess that there's when I start writing a song, there's kind of a structure in mind. Like I wanna introduce this idea in the first verse, wrestle with the idea in the second verse, and kind of resolve it by whether it's the third verse or the bridge or and then the chorus kind of brings you along to each part. But each time you get to the chorus, hopefully you kind of see what I'm talking about in a slightly different angle or new light, even though I'm saying the same words. So it's a strategy in songwriting I love doing, which is, like I said, introducing an idea in the first verse, then putting that stamp on it in the chorus, but the type of stamp that can change after you've heard then the second verse, even though, like I said, it's the same. So sometimes when I set out to write a song, that's kind of already planned out. Like I've mapped out where I want to take it by the first verse. Like I know how I want to answer this question that I've asked. And other times I don't know. I don't know how to end it. And there was and those are songs that just won't be released because I can't figure it out. So
Hi. Would you want the story of Trench translated into other media, such as graphic novels, film, books, or theater?
only if Josh can play the lead role, I guess.
In a book?
Yeah. You want to write it? Illustrate it.
Oh, yeah, I'll illustrate.
You draw all the things.
Yeah. You can write it, and then I'll illustrate through Paint.
Yeah.
MS Paint.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool, but we don't really know much about that stuff, so we like to stay where we are.
Sorry, I can't really see. So welcome back to Philly.
Thanks.
What made you guys decide to perform Taxi Cab at this new tour?
Good question. Set lists are always difficult to put together, but also another kind of thing that we're really excited about. There's, how do you start the show? How do you transition from one thing to the next? There's a lot about a set list that people wouldn't quite get or understand, which is the point, because if you're not thinking about the transition, then we're doing our job right. But if you go, ooh, that was a weird transition, then it kind of, sticks its head out. Like where a mic stand is at a particular point, when you ask the audience to do this, should you still ask them to do it? Like there's a kind of this whole strategy that we've put together just from playing small shows all the way to here that's surprisingly the same type of philosophy, which is if you lean on the audience, if you go, hey, here's your moment, like if this fails like partially, it's your fault, like that they feel that pressure and they want to step up. So inside of a set there's a definite like highs and lows, and you can't have constant highs. And obviously once you get into that dip that happens at every show, which I'm sure you guys have seen a bunch of shows, how do you get out of it? But also how do you make that dip mean something, that kind of drop in energy? It should still feel like it means something. And so the song Taxi Cab kind of served as that purpose to kind of like slow everything down, go down into that kind of lesser energy moment of the set, but still means something because that song, I wrote that a long time ago, and it's always been one of my favorites. And so, yeah.
Hi, I'm Sean Wickward from Millville, New Jersey. You have always had a distinct sound, and recently I've noticed a couple other bands that seem to sound very similar. Do you find it flattering that other bands are beginning to imitate you, or does it annoy you that they're trying to be like you?
Oh. I didn't know that. Is that happening? What does that even sound like?
That's a good question. I think somebody like pointed it out to us that like one or two artists or whoever kind of sounded similar, and I didn't really notice when I heard it. But I guess it's flattering.
Yeah, it's hard for us to tell. Like I don't think we would be like, oh, you guys are okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something about the fact that we're so close in proximity to what it is that we're doing that everything else feels foreign. It doesn't like, oh, that looks familiar. And maybe you guys are more in a position to see that than even we are. But at the same time, it's like, what are they copying? The freedom to write whatever type of song they want. I mean, that's great. So I'm all in.
Yeah.
Awesome. Matthew, Biggenwald?
Hey guys, I'm from Northeast Philly. So my question is, from kitchen sink to the color yellow and cello felina, how do you go to create a meaning behind something that most people would overlook?
I think that I really like taking something that doesn't necessarily have meaning and trying to fill it with meaning. Not just for everyone else, but for myself as well. There's something about when you give it meaning, it sticks with you. If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, here's this word. Here's what it means. Make it your thing." It's kind of I don't know, a little uninspiring, and maybe doesn't last as long. But when you discover, a certain band, a certain song, a certain lyric, I know for me, I discovered a lot of meaning inside of other people's music and other bands. And the idea to be that to anyone else seemed like the ultimate honor. And so we're always looking to try to offer that. And the things you mentioned is like, man, the other thing, it's scary because you don't know if people are just be like, that's dumb. So there's that. Obviously, you guys don't think it's dumb, so that's really cool.
There's something cool about bonding over meaning as well. And I mean, a lot of you guys are wearing yellow in here, and I think that there's been times with like maybe a couple other artists that I've like felt that kind of bond with other people over the meaning of, like Tyler said, of some other song, or but everybody can have their own meaning within that. but bonding over it is a cool thing. So I guess I just said the same thing as you.
You said it's slightly lower than me, though.
Lower pitched or
Yeah.
lower volume?
Well, pitched,
Oh, yeah.
which I've always been envious of.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for giving us your time. We all appreciate it.
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you.
My question is, do you do anything in particular to keep yourselves grounded?
If we search 2-1 Pilots on Twitter, that's where all the haters are. And it really brings you back a couple notches.
It's true. It's true. They're always there. Yeah, no, I also think that Josh and I are both really close with our families. I'm closer to my family, and Josh is closer to his family. Well, I'm not close to his family. He's not as close to my family. You know what I mean? Like, just wanted
Yeah.
to clarify.
Yeah, I mean,
Our respective families is who we're close with.
he's had way more time with his family than I've had with his family.
But
so-
we're getting there.
Yeah,
We're closing the gap.
yeah.
Anyway, hanging with your family, that can, I mean, naturally can keep you grounded no matter what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And no matter how successful what you're doing becomes. You're always that kid that when he first learned how to ride a bike, he rode into a pine tree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I walk in the door, that's what my brother or my parents see. It's a kid who ran into the pine tree. So that naturally helps with the grounded part.
And I still drive Uber.
Like you drive for Uber?
For Uber. Like I'll pick people up and
That's an honor, man.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, what a great note to end it on. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this. Give it
Yes.
up
Yeah,
one more
thank
time.
you.
21 Pilots. Thank you to everybody. Amazing questions. And we'll do some pictures afterwards. Cool? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.